everyone. You're watching the Asian American Herald, a new media network featuring Asian Americans across the United States. My name is Shruthi Nattanmai, and I'm a student at the Fashion Institute of Technology, writer and creative, who was born in the Capital Region. This evening, I'm super excited to speak with Devi Persaud, a model and fellow resident of the Capital Region. Thank you so much for joining me on today's show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I'd like to start by asking you to take a minute to introduce yourself a bit more and tell our viewers about your background. So where did you grow up? What are some of your interests?
Okay, so I was born in Guyana. I moved over when I was 4 years old to Jamaica, Queens, and I moved up to Schenectady, New York when I was about 10 years old, and I've just been here ever since. My interests include modeling, music, fashion, traveling. So yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember anything about your experience kind of moving from Guyana to Queens?
Well, I moved in December, so I just remember
Okay.
a huge climate shock.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Definitely. And what about from Queens to Schenectady? What kind of prompted you to move to Schenectady?
Well, my parents moved.
Oh,
We needed a house, and my parents heard it was a great place to grow their kids instead of the clustered New York City environment. So that's why we just moved up here.
for sure. Yeah. And yeah, so what kind of music do you like? And yeah.
I like Indian music. Just Indian
Cool.
music.
All of it. Just all Indian music. That's awesome. Can you speak any other languages?
No, I understand a little bit of Hindi from watching movies and listening to the music, but growing up, we just the Guyanese community, we just spoke broken down English, so it wasn't anything too much of a different language.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally understand that. I actually started to understand Tamil because of my grandma used to watch those like soap operas. And it was just always running in the background that when I think in like 2017, I went to India and they were like talking in Tamil. And I was like, wait, I understand this. Like it was just so weird that it was just so unintentional. But it's so cool how when you listen to those songs or movies, you just kind of pick up phrases and words along the way. So I totally understand that. So, can you talk a bit more about your experience growing up as a Guyanese American woman in the Capital Region? So, did you find there to be any particular challenges or opportunities that came from living in the region as like a minority?
Well, as a minority, the challenges I faced were just regular day-to-day childhood challenges where our family only listened to Bollywood music. So the kids in class, we didn't really have that interaction with current music or current movies. But other than that, I've experienced a smooth sailing as in terms of my career outside of the modeling as well, because there was not a lot of competition.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I understand that as I mean, I feel like that's a common thread between kids of immigrants or immigrants themselves, just that disconnect between even just like music that, or like the Beatles or like bands like that, that a lot of my friends' parents used to listen to. And then they'd be like, oh, my parents listen to this. You just don't have that common thread. So I definitely understand that. So did you, I guess, what did you learn or experience as going to like schools in a predominantly like white area? Were there any like challenges that came upon that, or did you kind of realize anything about yourself or anything like that?
Well, growing up, I mostly stuck to myself. In elementary school, there was only about 5 colored people that was in the same elementary school as me.
Mm-hmm.
But as time progressed, the high school was filled with Guyanese people. It was like it was just, you belonged there. It felt like you belonged there. But The culture shock was essentially going from a non-cultured background with school, like middle school was not a lot of Guyanese people, then going into high school where you just see an overwhelming amount. It was more of friends trying to make time for different types of friends.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Why do you think you felt more comfortable around Guyanese Americans? Did you feel just you had more in common with them, or yeah?
Well, yes, I had more in common with them. And just because I didn't have a lot of interaction growing up outside of my cousins, it felt different, and it felt like something that we had so much in common. It's like, wow, I grew up and I didn't experience this before.
Right,
So,
right. And did that kind of so tell us a bit about what you did after um, high school.
after high school, I went and I in 2011 I went to Russell Sage College. I was going for nursing at first. And that was where I met someone who was very much into photography.
Okay.
And so we collaborated a little bit, and it was all fun. And I just enjoyed it so much that I just wanted to keep doing it and meeting with different photographers, because at a point they just started reaching out, and
Hmm.
it just picked up from there.
That's awesome. So did you continue nursing or did you pursue modeling?
So actually, I went all through high school thinking I was going to do business. I got a degree in business instead. So I switched.
Okay.
I did my associates over here in the community college instead.
Awesome. I mean, business is definitely necessary for modeling as well, so I'm sure that comes in handy. Um, yeah, that's definitely an important skill to have, even if it's just marketing yourself or anything
Mhm.
like that. So that's definitely awesome. So tell us a bit about more about when you first became interested in modeling. Like what kind of caught your attention or what made you like that industry the most?
Well, growing up in Guyana, when I was born, I was the first granddaughter in my family. So So my grandparents, my dad's parents, my dad's brothers and sisters, they were all in New York at that time. So my mom, she used to make outfits. She makes outfits. So she used to make little cute little outfits for me and have me pose in little flower gardens and different places and send it back to my grandparents and my aunts and uncles so that they can have some sort of idea of how I'm growing and what I look like from far. So it felt familiar all through growing up. It just
Hmm.
up.
Yeah. So, did you find yourself kind of drawn to more? I mean, there's so many different types of shoots that you can model for, from more abstract shoots to just portraits or things like that. Did you find yourself drawn to like a particular kind of modeling, or did you want to do commercial or runway, or like kind of what was going in your through your mind then?
So growing up, runway has always caught my attention just because it's so glamorous and the outfits and everything.
Yeah.
But I've experienced that my height might not make that so easy. I'm only 5'2".
Okay, yeah, I understand.
I actually joined an agency in Syracuse, and I've been doing commercial modeling where I do commercials for just things that are just day to day and just normal people
Yeah,
commercials.
yeah. So what has your experience been like working with an agency, aside from just photographers at Russell Sage?
Well, photographers, it was great because I got to play dress up, essentially. I got
Yeah.
to experiment and be creative. But when you're working with an agency, it's more of uh, it zones you down. It's like, okay, well, you have to look as normal as possible. Very little makeup. Your hair has to look normal. Here's just like some normal scrubs. We're going to do like a hospital shoot.
Right, right. So you think you feel that working through an agency is kind of more not strict per se, but just like structured.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, if you could name one thing that you enjoy most about modeling, what would it be?
I would say the clothing. I like
Hmm.
I like the different outfits and just experimenting,
Yeah,
basically.
for sure. And I mean, and as you said, that's definitely probably familiar for you because of your mother and just like what your childhood entailed. And I personally also love clothing, so I totally understand that appeal. If you could model in any shoot, what kind of clothing would you like prefer to shoot for?
Honestly, I would prefer shooting for Indian clothing. I feel it's so elegant.
Mm-hmm.
It has so much descriptive parts to it. The jewelry, the clothing, so much embroidery.
Right.
Just it has a different look to it that I enjoy.
Definitely. Especially Indian bridal
Yes.
is so pretty. Yeah, that's definitely that would be incredible. So, can you tell us a bit about some of your most memorable experiences or moments as a model? Are there any like particular shoots or yeah, just um, moments that have stuck out to you the most?
Well, with the agency, I did a shoot where I had to advertise a printer for Xerox.
Okay.
And that was an interesting shoot because they chose me as one of the main characters for that shoot. So I had a lot more time on set than others. And I got to meet a lot of people in terms of the background, who's in the background, my colleagues in the commercial, and just the lighting. They had to put me on a carton box because I was shorter than the rest of the model. So yeah.
Yeah, what'd you take away from that experience?
Well, it was actually in Rochester. So we had to get there super early. Timing is everything. They were trying to get a shot where the sun was hitting everyone's face in a certain way. So it's all about timing.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and I feel like people don't really think about that when they think of an ad for a printer, especially. People don't really think about everything that goes into whether was that like were those photographs or was it like a video?
It was a video, it was a commercial. Yeah.
It was had you worked on videos before or commercials before?
Once or twice I've done a little bit of commercials here and there, but not too much. I like to do stills because I can't get it wrong.
Yeah, and commercials definitely because that ties in acting too, which
Yeah.
is a whole other deal. But yeah, so I guess what was the biggest difference you found between stills and video?
Every stills, it's more of timing, how fast paced a person walks.
Hmm.
To it's just how you speak. What are you speaking? Your facial expressions. I mean, even in pictures, your facial expressions matter a lot. But in terms of acting, it's like you have to do way more shots to get that perfect visual for them.
Right, right. So looking forward, would you kind of prefer to stick to like photography or would you kind of want to expand and do more commercials?
Well, definitely, I do like the commercial aspect just because you see the inside scoop of professionalism. You see
Hmm.
the directors are there that they direct you and tell you exactly where to go, what to do, how to look. And the makeup artist, you have a makeup artist on set. They have to make sure that your hair's, every single piece of hair is in the right spot. So I like the background of it all. It's amazing. So much
Yeah.
work that you put into it, days of work just for a couple minutes of an outcome.
For sure. From just the planning aspect of these things is also very interesting to like storyboarding and all of that for commercials is just so interesting. And like you said, it's incredible how much work goes into even like a 30-second commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Really incredible. Would you ever want to work behind the scenes and kind of, yeah, learn more about what goes on in that aspect?
Oh, definitely. I like to learn about different lightings and how the camera looks versus different lightings, and
Mm-hmm.
the makeup aspect is a very important part too that I think. So there's just different aspects that I feel like it'll be interesting to dabble into.
Yeah, and I feel like that all comes to play and just as a model too, because learning the lighting and learning how camera works, I would just, even if you didn't become a makeup artist or a light technician, it would just help you become a better model, which is just because I
Yes.
feel like that. So I feel like that would never go to waste per se, and that stuff is very interesting. I do agree with that. So outside of modeling, though, what are some of your goals for the future?
Well, currently I have a bachelor. Well, I'm working on my bachelor's for
Okay, cool.
quarantine. I'm doing my bachelor's in business, so I have that going. Meanwhile, I've been trying to see what other hobbies I like too, because modeling, it entitles you to be around numerous people, and right now it's very hard to put yourself in that atmosphere.
Definitely.
So I've been trying to see what other things I can do. I've been in the kitchen more, trying to learn new recipes.
For
And
sure.
well, I haven't been to the gym in since quarantine started. So
Me either.
I've
Yeah.
been trying to build a little gym as well to try to stay on top of things. And I still have a daytime job too. I work full time. And just trying to stay on top of things. I've been doing TikToks as well to keep my creative side.
Yeah. So, how is it going kind of balancing a full-time job with a bachelor's degree and just all of it being on, or at least, yeah, a lot of it being online? How is the process of balancing all of that?
It's not easy. I would say
Mhm.
I have a planner, and I've gotten into planning my way through my day to day due dates and jobs and everything. I've just tried to do time management a little better. But I would say being home is a little easier because there's not a lot of activities going on, such as birthday parties that you have to make time for and other things
Yeah,
of nature. So it's not as bad.
yeah. I that's still really incredible that you're doing both of those things at the same time. So I applaud you for that. That's while being a model, all of those things. That's really incredible. Are there any other creative fields that you kind of hope to? I know we briefly touched on this, but are there any other creative fields that you kind of hope to dabble in?
Well, I do like I told you about the Bollywood industry. I do like that a lot. I like the music aspect of it. I've gone to a lot of the Bollywood concerts in New Jersey. I've
Yes.
gone to the IFA, let's see, a couple years ago in New Jersey as well. They said it was New York, but it was in New Jersey. So I've um, I've enjoyed that aspect of things as well. Just being in the industry and meeting new people. I've met different singers. I've met different people in New Jersey too who have they've been an independent entrepreneur. They have their own businesses down in New Jersey. They do like modeling shows sometimes for Indian events. So it's all a great experience overall. Just being in the
Definitely. Would you ever want to work in Bollywood?
growing up, it was
What
but
about now?
but overall, I'm not sure anymore. I'd rather be an independent, person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you ever want to cross over into film though, even as an independent, just model actress?
I can, yeah, that would be nice one day for that opportunity to come up, hopefully.
Yeah. Um, well, I wish you the best of luck. That sounds amazing. I will be keeping my eye out for you. So I know I mean, I totally, I understand that you were saying how it's been tough to stay at home and, just go about what you used to do when everything is closed or there's so many restrictions in place. So in addition to TikTok and social media and things like that, how have you been staying creative during this time?
Staying creative. Well, I've dabbled a bit in making soap. So,
That's awesome.
so yes, I tried that. I did a little bit of. I wanted to learn the insides of jewelry making, so I've done a bit of that as well to see how that works. I bought a silhouette so that I can start making stickers for my planner. So it's just little things here and there.
Definitely. That's fun. And soap, that's like useful. That's
Right.
that's a very useful hobby. Have you tried kind of self-directing any shoots or just like modeling on your own?
Yes, I have actually modeled on my own with a few different things. I've worked with a photographer. He comes up every so often. Every summer he comes up. He's in Florida and then he comes up here. And there's another photographer that is in Massachusetts. So there's a few different photographers, and sometimes we'd meet and do a collab of just fashion, or we would do a collab of Indian jewelry, or uh, just Indian clothes, just different things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, TikTok and social media in general is such a good tool to kind of get people to see these shoots and everything because I've especially TikTok. It's incredible how many people can see a single video in such a short period of time. So, have you, yeah, so how have you been using TikTok and things like that?
Well, I do enjoy the social media aspect of things as well. Just because you get to showcase what you've worked on, different things. TikTok, it's so much work in a couple seconds of video.
Yeah.
But I've just been trying to stay on top of the trends, trying to put culture into the different trends that come about, and just trying to have fun and be creative. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was the only one who found TikTok to be like a lot of work or if I just like didn't know how to work it, but I'm glad you think so too.
Work.
Especially like transitions and all of that. I don't know. I'm I feel like it shouldn't be that hard and yeah, I'm still yeah, you could easily spend like 45 minutes on one of
Oh
those
yeah,
videos. Like
yeah,
very
definitely. But I think it's interesting too because it's like you're making a small film, basically.
yeah.
So I feel it's interesting to learn how to do those transitions. It's interesting of the lighting to make sure that your transitions look proper. So there's just different aspects of it that go hand in hand with commercials and modeling. It just all ties in together.
Yeah. And a lot of agencies and brands are using TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff like that as their commercials. So honestly, it's very useful to understand how it works. And yeah, you can also get a lot of inspiration from social media too for shoots, which is um, that's always good.
True. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest where I get my inspiration.
Yeah. Do you kind of mood board things you want to shoot or anything like that?
Yes, yes. I try to pin everything that I'm interested in or
Yeah.
want to incorporate into my social media or whatever project I'm working on. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to end us off here, I have one last question for you. So what is like another and your next project that you're working on that you can talk about, or something that people can look out for?
Well, as you know, my mom, she used to make clothes, and my grandma, my mom's mom, she made clothes as well. So I'm hoping sometime in the near future I can learn how to do that and maybe model my own clothes.
Awesome. Awesome. So, okay, so model and fashion designer. Then we got a stacked resume there. That's awesome. And almost you're working on your bachelor's degree too. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Awesome that you're doing all of that. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for your clothing line. I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in a commercial or on TV or anything. But yeah, congratulations on everything that you've accomplished so far.
Thank you. And I think I'll be reaching out to you since you have a background in fashion.
We could do something together. There we go. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this evening on the Asian American Herald. My name is Shruthi Nattanmai, and our wonderful guest for today was Devi Persaud. Please send us your story ideas and look for the recording of this show on our Facebook page. Have a good evening, and thank you again.
Thanks.